As you know, I've been with this series since day one, and honestly, I've loved it. It's been an educational experience. I've met hoarders, historians, antique dealers, and your viewing has really made the programme what it is today.
Rebecca Pritchard is best known as one of the key experts behind the long-running television series Salvage Hunters. While the program is often associated with on-screen discoveries and high-value finds, much of its credibility rested on careful research, historical knowledge, and informed evaluation. Pritchard played a central role in that process. Her work focused on understanding provenance, restoration quality, and long-term value, offering viewers a grounded perspective on the antiques trade. Away from the camera, her career spans decades of professional experience, business ownership, and sustained involvement in the decorative antiques sector. Rebecca Pritchard is a British antiques expert whose public profile is closely linked to the television series Salvage Hunters. While the program centers on sourcing architectural salvage and decorative antiques, Pritchard's role was primarily analytical rather than performative. She was responsible for assessing objects after acquisition, examining their condition, historical background, and market relevance. This behind-the-scenes expertise helped ground the series in practical knowledge rather than speculation. Her work reflected a methodical approach to antiques, shaped by years of professional experience prior to television. Rather than focusing on dramatic valuations, she emphasized provenance, craftsmanship, and restoration integrity. This perspective gave viewers insight into how value is established over time, not simply through rarity or aesthetic appeal, but through documented history and careful preservation. As the series grew in popularity, Pritchard became a familiar presence to audiences, though she remained largely removed from the show's transactional focus. Her contribution reinforced the educational aspect of the program, helping distinguish it from other reality-based formats. In doing so, she established a reputation as a knowledgeable and reliable authority within the antiques trade, both on screen and in professional circles. Rebecca Pritchard was born in the United Kingdom in February 1958 and developed an interest in antiques long before her work became associated with television. Her professional background was built through direct involvement in the antiques trade, where practical experience and subject knowledge are valued over formal presentation. Rather than entering the field through media or entertainment, she established herself through hands-on work that included sourcing, researching, and restoring decorative objects. Her early career focused on understanding materials, construction methods, and historical context, all of which are central to assessing authenticity and long-term value. This foundation allowed her to evaluate items beyond surface appearance, taking into account factors such as age, condition, and provenance. These skills later became a defining feature of her on-screen role. By the time she became involved with Salvage Hunters, Pritchard already had years of experience operating within the antiques market. Her approach reflected a disciplined, research-led mindset rather than a commercial or performative one. This background shaped her professional reputation and positioned her as a dependable authority, capable of offering measured assessments rooted in historical knowledge and market awareness rather than speculation or trend-driven valuation. Rebecca Pritchard's involvement with Salvage Hunters began when the program launched in 2011 as a factual series focused on architectural salvage and decorative antiques. While the format followed the acquisition process on the road, Pritchard's role was based around post-purchase evaluation. She assessed items once they arrived at the workshop, analyzing their age, construction, condition, and historical relevance. Her contributions provided structure and credibility to the program. Rather than reacting to discoveries in real time, she offered measured assessments that explained why certain pieces held value and others did not. This included identifying periods of manufacture, recognizing later alterations, and advising on appropriate restoration approaches. Her explanations helped viewers understand that value was shaped by context and documentation, not simply appearance. Unlike many factual television formats, her role avoided speculation or exaggerated claims. The emphasis remained on verifiable detail and informed judgment. Over multiple seasons, this approach became a consistent feature of the series, reinforcing its educational focus. Pritchard's presence helped distinguish the program from entertainment-led antiques shows, positioning it as a more grounded examination of the trade and its professional standards. Rebecca Pritchard's professional life on Salvage Hunters was closely connected to her personal relationship with Drew Pritchard, the program's lead presenter and dealer. The two were married during the early years of the show, and their partnership extended beyond television into shared involvement in the antiques trade. This dual relationship shaped how their work was presented on screen, with Rebecca operating in a clearly defined analytical role that complemented Drew's buying activities. Their collaboration reflected a division of expertise rather than a shared on-camera presence. While Drew focused on sourcing and negotiation, Rebecca's work centered on evaluation, research, and restoration advice. This separation helped maintain a professional structure within the program, even as their personal relationship remained largely outside the narrative of the show itself. In 2017, the marriage ended in divorce. Following this, Rebecca's appearances on the program became less frequent, though she did not publicly discuss the circumstances surrounding the separation. Both continued their professional activities independently within the antiques sector. The change marked a shift in the show's behind-the-scenes dynamics, but Rebecca's earlier contributions remained a significant part of the program's established format and credibility. After stepping back from regular television appearances, Rebecca Pritchard continued to work within the antiques sector, maintaining a professional focus that predated her time on Salvage Hunters. Rather than remaining in the public eye, she directed her efforts toward business activity, restoration work, and valuation services. This shift reflected a return to the practical foundations of her career rather than a departure from the field itself. Her post-television work has centered on antiques dealing and interior-focused restoration, areas where detailed knowledge of materials, period design, and conservation standards is essential. Operating outside the structure of a television production allowed her to apply the same research-led approach without the constraints of filming schedules or broadcast formats. Although she has made occasional appearances connected to the antiques trade, Rebecca has largely maintained a low public profile. She has not pursued media projects or commentary roles, choosing instead to remain active within professional circles. This decision aligns with the role she occupied during her television career, where credibility was built through expertise rather than visibility. Her continued involvement in the industry demonstrates a sustained commitment to the discipline and practices that defined her earlier work. Rebecca Pritchard's long-term impact is most evident in how Salvage Hunters approach the presentation of antiques as historical and cultural objects rather than purely commercial assets. Her work helped establish a format in which research, provenance, and condition were treated as central to understanding value. This emphasis contributed to the program's reputation as a factual series grounded in professional practice rather than entertainment-driven appraisal. Audience response over the years reflected this distinction. Viewers frequently associated her presence with reliability and measured judgment, qualities that reinforced trust in the information presented. While she was not positioned as a central on-screen personality, her role shaped how the series communicated expertise, influencing its tone and educational focus. Beyond the program itself, her career illustrates a broader model of professional credibility within the antiques trade. She demonstrated that authority in the field is built through sustained knowledge, careful analysis, and practical experience, not visibility or promotion. As a result, her contribution continues to be recognized as part of the foundation that allowed the series to maintain consistency and authenticity over time. Her legacy remains closely tied to the standards of evaluation and historical awareness she brought to the work. Rebecca Pritchard's career reflects a consistent commitment to professional standards within the antiques trade, both during and after her association with Salvage Hunters. Rather than leveraging television exposure to build a public-facing media profile, she remained aligned with the practical and research-driven aspects of the field. This approach reinforced her credibility and distinguished her work from more personality-led formats. Her contribution to the program was never centered on visibility or narrative prominence. Instead, it was defined by accuracy, restraint, and an emphasis on historical context. These qualities helped establish a tone that treated antiques as objects of cultural and material significance, not simply as commodities for resale. That perspective has continued to influence how the series is regarded, particularly among viewers with an interest in craftsmanship and conservation. Over time, Rebecca's role has come to represent a quieter form of authority within televised factual content. Her career demonstrates how expertise can shape public understanding without reliance on spectacle or self-promotion. While her presence on screen diminished, the standards she helped set remain embedded in the program's structure. Her professional legacy is defined less by recognition and more by the lasting influence of careful evaluation, research, and integrity in the presentation of antiques.